Thank you, my friends, and good morning to everyone. First of all, I would like my initial words today to be directed to the German people, especially to the victims and the families of the victims of the terrible attack at the Christmas market. To them, we send all the affection and solidarity of the Socialist International in these moments of grief. I would like also to express my gratitude to our colleagues from the USPF and his first secretary, Dries Lasgar, for welcoming us so warmly in this beautiful city of Rabat and Morocco. And of course, I want to thank all delegations that are here. You are much more than the voice of your national parties. You are also the voice of comrades and that cannot be here because they suffer persecution or are imprisoned in their countries. All of them are present in our thoughts today. Dear comrades, today, our internationalism is more relevant than ever in the world we live in. A world in which great global challenges such as climate change, extreme inequalities, or the brutality of wars are on the rise. A world where human rights, multilateralism, and peace are increasingly questioned. A world where authoritarianism advances and democracy is in retreat like never before in decades. Our values and principles are challenged from north to south, from east to west. In Africa, we see countries devastated by extremist groups, often using tribalism, ethnicity, or religion to fracture societies and fuel conflicts. In the Middle East, war takes thousands of lives every day with the silence of much of the international community. And even in the heart of Europe, the basic principles of sovereignty is threatened by Putin's illegal war in Ukraine. In a world like this, our voice is not only necessary, I do believe is essential. And that voice must be firm and clear. Firm in defending an independent Palestinian state, living in peace with Israel under a two-state solution. Firm in the urgency of freeing the hostages captured by Hamas. Firm in supporting the Lebanese and the Syrians in rebuilding their countries. Firm in defending a free Ukraine that can recover peace after such devastation. Firm in advocating peace for so many other conflicts often forgotten in the headlines. Sudan, Yemen, Haiti. The roots of firmness must always lie on coherence. That is why, if the world is full of hypocrisy and double standards, we socialists must raise our voice with honesty and coherence. A voice that demands peace now and everywhere. A voice that advocates a renewed multilateralism and a rules-based international order. My friends, 10 months ago, we held our council in Madrid, the capital of Spain. Looking back to those days, we saw 2024 as a decisive year for the world. In 70 countries around the world, over 3.4 billion people were called to the polls, nearly half of the planet's population. Now it is time to take stock of where we are and where humanity is headed. I want to do this based on two main realities. The first is the advance of the far right in almost every corner of the planet. This was a reality a year ago, but it has accelerated. In its advance, the far right is often using technology to spread lies, with disinformation and anti-politics. These are their weapons. We've seen it in Romania, where I want to reiterate our support for Prime Minister Ciolacu. They argue that democracy is inefficient and that human rights and gender equality are obstacles. They defend with lies and idealized past in order to hide their main weakness, the fact that they lack any plans or any project for the future of their societies. Looking to the future through the lens of the past is equivalent to losing the present. That is the risk humanity is facing with the rise of the far right. In our last meeting in Ankara, we highlighted the importance of connecting global issues with national and regional policies to counter these far-right forces. This conversation will continue through our working group on political strategy and our network of local and regional authority representatives. The second point I would like to highlight, my dear comrades, even more concerning, is that the traditional and more moderate right has finally given in, buying into the discourse of hatred and backward looking. Unfortunately, they have ended up normalizing what until not so long ago was unacceptable. Now, not only do they accept the premise and principles of the far right, they do something even worse. They embrace and copy such discourses with slight changes to make them more acceptable to the public. This is, I believe, even more harmful, given their greater reach and penetration among the general public. They are driven by fear. They want to protect their voter base at any cost, even at the expense of renouncing their own principles. But they also act this way by self-interest. They believe they can moderate and tame the most reactionary populism, as if they hadn't learned from history that some discourses cannot be tamed or whitewashed. The only thing to do is to reject them and bury them in the past from which they should never have returned. So, for instance, in my country, in Spain, it is often said that people always prefer the original over the copy. That is why I know that this complacent right-wing strategy is doomed to fail. And that is the main message that I want to convey, that we must stand. We must stand, my dear comrades. Where others hesitate, we socialists stand firm in defense of democracy. Where others witness unacceptable discourses, we denounce them head-on. Where others turn their backs on achievements led by multilateral organizations, we champion them with more determination. We act this way not only guided by our principles, but because someone must uphold the banner of democracy, peace, and human rights, especially now, when others let them fall. Today, more than ever, my dear friends, the Socialist International must stand firm in this position, because if we don't, no one else will. It is not a time for retreats or weakness. It is our turn to stand up and offer hope and alternatives from progressive thought. It is our turn to defend the value of science and reason in the face of climate denialism. It is our turn to defend the values of ideas in a world where elites reject democracy with a purpose to grow anti-politics. And by the way, why they choose anti-politics? Because it is a shortcut in the real agenda. A reactionary agenda to weaken social justice and dismantle the welfare state. An agenda to distract people and stop talking about physical justice and ending tax havens, an agenda to promote growth at the expense of our planet and future generations. And I will tell you something. They are lying. They are lying. Better jobs can be created while protecting labor rights and advancing social protection. Growth can be achieved while reducing both emissions and inequalities. Why I do know it? Because that is the model we have been implementing in Spain over the past 7 years. And it works. Go and ask the economist or other reference of liberal thinking. Among all advanced economies, the Spanish economy will grow the most this year, 4 times more than the average of the Eurozone. We have reduced inequality to its lower level in 2 decades, and in 2023, Spain has created more jobs than Germany and France combined. So therefore, there is an alternative. No matter how much it hurts them, there is an alternative. And that alternative is called social democracy. The model we have defended and will continue to do so, adapting it to the needs of our times. But even if we know it works, we must not make the mistake of clinging to unchanging values. Nor should we react with fear, but with ambition to new challenges, such as the one represented by digitalization. It is in our DNA to anticipate change and embrace it, ensuring its benefits everyone. Our history is one of reading social changes from closeness and adapting our ideology to the spirit of each time. It is about not just accepting the world we live in, but changing it from government. With victories at the polls, like those achieved by our friends in Ghana, Congo, or the recent elections of the first woman to preside over Namibia in its history. There is no better forum to highlight those achievements than holding this meeting here in Africa. Because it is time to change perceptions about this continent. It is time to forge a new narrative for this land and its progress. Africa will have a middle class of 1 billion people by 2060, and it will triple its contribution to global GDP before 2050. Africa is a testament to the power of transformation. It is the heart of that world in motion referred to in the central theme of our meeting. And the best ally for that transformation are progressive forces. Therefore, I encourage all the broader parties of this continent to continue growing, always with one goal: to win at the polls. That is the best way to strengthen this greater family of the Socialist International. Over the past year, we have worked to become a better organization. We have modernized our internal governance and working methods, optimized our resources, and strengthened our political presence. We have reduced expenses and implemented a new system of checks and balances, and we have organized missions and summits in Bucharest, Ankara, Rio, and now we have the pleasure to be here in Rabat. The report prepared by our General Coordinator, Chantal, will give a thorough account of all this. Today, in this Council, we take another step to strengthen this great house of global progressive thought, in this case by honoring people who are examples and role models for the Socialist International. We do so with the creation of the Francisco Peña Gómez Award. I welcome this initiative from our Latin American Committee, which will help give further visibility to our organization. And of course, I congratulate our friends and comrades from Uruguay because they won the elections and we have another president progressive in Latin America. So, dear colleagues, I conclude. We are a wide network of thought that brings together parties, individuals, and like-minded organizations. We are present in dozens of countries, and we have all tools not only to interpret a rapidly changing world, drawing from diverse perspectives and cultural traditions. We must, but most importantly, the drive and energy to transform it. So, to conclude, let's use that immense resource in our service of humanity. And let's find in the value of the internationalism that defines us the answer to great global challenges that know no boundaries, continents, or borders. And I thank you. Shukran, gracias, merci beaucoup.
Hello to everyone. Now we need to go to the second step, which is the family photo.